Alright boys, we're back, man. And you may be wondering, Nick, why do you sound so frustrated? I have recorded this intro 3 times. And they've all been interrupted. Hopefully this will be the 4th time someone interrupts me. And, today we're doing things a little bit different. It's been a little bit, because that last podcast was uploaded at the beginning of November. And it was about the beginning of October, but we filmed that, breaking the 4th wall, at the beginning of September, I believe. That was a long time ago. And today we have someone that is not Angel. We have one of the boys. She's been one of the boys for a long time. Like, one of the OG boys. You all know, she's in Brick Squad. We don't talk about Brick Squad here, but she's in Brick Squad. Please, take the floor.
Wait, Discord's out here cutting off, bro. I have like 3 more.
Alright, we're going back in. Emmy, take the floor. Go ahead, introduce yourself. Scuffed.
Alright, so, I'm Emy. I'm one of the Brick Squad boys.
Brick Squad!
One of the boys. Hey, hype.
Pog.
And yeah.
Pogs.
Yo, Pogs in the chat.
No, Emmy, I want you to tell the boys a little bit about what you do, What do you do
Like
for
in
yourself?
general?
Like in general, what are your pastimes, right?
Well,
Because I know you're an
draw.
artist. There you go, man. You're an artist.
I draw a lot and shit. I've done really good with like the digital artist tablet.
She has. They're pretty good pieces of work. I recommend. All of Emmy's stuff will be in the description below. That's the first time we've ever plugged anybody.
As well.
That is the first time we ever plugged anybody because we normally don't have anyone on the podcast. We've had one other person, and it was our friend Ulysses. Shout out to Ulysses if you're still listening. He was the only other person on the podcast, and his episode is doing fairly well. You guys should go take a chance and listen to that one, for it is one of my favorite ones that we've done. But today we're gonna do. What do you mean?
What happened? What happened to Ulysses? I was gonna say, but
He's one of the boys. In the first episode of the podcast, the very first one, the One Punch Man one, he got up halfway through the episode while we were all talking. There was like 5 of us, and he never came back. It was a complete mystery on what happened to him. He never came back. He said, "Hold that thought, I'll be right back," and then he never showed back up.
But has he ever like talked to you guys since?
Yeah, no, we've talked to him since. He just never came back for that episode. And then a few episodes go by, and then I filmed one with him, and it was one of my favorite episodes.
Yeah.
It's like this one, I feel like will be one of my favorite episodes to film because we have a different perspective.
You're probably gonna roast me the whole time, but
Yeah, listen, I won't, because I like you. You're one of the boys. Brick Squad for life. Brick Squad. Brick Squad. But Emy here is an avid viewer of the casual weep shit. Emy, you feel free to curse anything except the N-word.
right.
Anything except the N-word. As someone brings up every time I've said the N-word on this podcast, which is a lot.
Really?
I've said it a lot.
I mean, but that's kind of normal. Like you say it in casual conversation. all the
Yeah,
time.
I do. So do you.
Sometimes, yeah. I haven't in like a year though.
I did. No. He said it as of this recording, like yesterday.
Really?
Yeah.
Yo, I feel like it was mad long since I said it.
Feel free to curse as much as you want on this podcast. We're not monetized, and Susan will not monetize me until I have like 10,000 subs. Speaking of 10,000 subs, a lot of you guys are not subbed. From the viewer count that we have, a lot of you are not subbed, and I very much appreciate a little bit of a sub scheme. It very much help our channel grow because we like doing these and we want to keep doing them for you guys. But Emy, you are an avid fan of watching anime, correct?
Yeah.
And none of you don't know, Emy is a big horror anime fan.
Yeah. I am.
Please, Emy, list off some of the ones that you personally have watched.
I haven't watched the recent ones because I started watching anime in a minute.
Yeah.
But last time was like
Scratch avid anime fan.
But I'm not what?
Part-time anime fan.
In my time, I've watched a lot of anime. I just haven't been keeping up with the
Yeah.
books and shit. like Boku no Hero and shit. I don't watch that. But the horror anime that I was like, yo, this shit slaps. Like I remember Higurashi was like, I think it was like 2012 or something came out. That shit was fire, bro. That shit was so good. But like kind of lengthy, but like still really good. And I really liked Another too, which is another like kind of like Final Destination.
I've watched Another. Weirdly enough, that's the one that I've watched.
That's the
that's like the only one that I've watched.
You're like, yo, finally something I can recognize.
Something I can relate to, because everyone on this podcast knows I favorite genre is slice of life, and slice of life is not horror.
Yeah, far from it.
Far from it. Like, what draws you to horror animes?
I don't know. I just, in general, am very like horror oriented. Like I say here at home, I watch like horror movies every other day.
Like creepy pastas and stuff.
Bro, I had like a full year. I'm not even playing. Like a full year, I would sit here and read these bum ass creepy pastas.
Yeah,
always so
it's like the ones where like I found a Dora DVD, and when I plugged it in, Boots was dead, and Dora had X's over her eyes.
Oh my god, it was like some fucking Sonic XE. Like they were like, and he had bulging eyes.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, this is Buns. Like the same write a better story.
Like I'm a big fan of Lost Media. Like I love Lost Media, and they're always bringing up terrible copy pastas. Creepy pasta. They're awful. Like they're so bad. The ones that are like, I put in my VHS copy of Brother Bear, and the brother and Brother Bear kills the other brother, but then the VHS spits out of the VHS tape and then shoots back, and then when I read the back it says run.
No, and then he's like, and then suddenly someone's at my door.
Exactly. I don't know how he got my address, but he stalked me for weeks. I could not sleep. I could not go to work. I could not go to school. I could not do this. Those are the worst ones.
They're so bad. But I really sat here and I was like, I'm gonna find one, because there was some that I was like, they're not bad. So I was like, I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna endure this trash, because I'm gonna find one that's gonna slap. And when it hits, it hits.
You know, when it hits, it does. Like back in the day, bro, them Slenderman ones. Oh yeah.
But the Slenderman ones were good for like a minute. Then it was like,
I was like
everyone
11.
got on it.
I was like 11.
I was in high school. I was literally finishing high school when that shit came out. Like, I'm old.
I was like 11. Creepypastas used to hit.
I was literally like, I think I was 16 when Slenderman, the whole thing came out, and they were like, "Hey yo, did you hear about Slenderman?" I was like, "What the fuck is that?" And like one of my friends she had like nightmares every day. She got so scared over it, and I was like, "Bro, it's a dumb story. Like, just do it." And she was like, "I can't walk alone." But she would be like, "I can't walk alone because I feel like someone's watching me, like on some stalker shit." I was like, "Yo, it's a pretty pasta made from like a dude that's like 15. Why are you scared?"
Not gonna hold you.
Mm-hmm.
I used to watch like murder documentaries when I was like 10.
Bro,
And I would get so spooked. And I'd be like, yo, they're coming for me, bro. He's so nice. Like I watched the Poughkeepsie tapes.
Yeah.
And I was like, bro, he's gonna go get me, because Poughkeepsie's in upstate New York, but I was so dumb. It'll take you like 5 hours to get there. And I was like, yo, I live in like Brooklyn. How is he ever gonna come get me?
Yeah, no, and Brooklyn is crowded all the time, man. Those people, like, so it's like, even then, someone would see him and be like,
This weird dude is not coming to get me, bro. It would happen with The Undertaker when I was like 7. I would watch SmackDown. No, I didn't know SmackDown was pre-taped at the time. I thought it was live. But then while The Undertaker was coming out, I would imagine that he was crawling up the 6th-story like apartment that I was at, and that he was gonna come through the fucking window and eat me. It was so bad. But wait, back to the topic at hand here.
Yeah.
Like, so you've always been horror oriented, especially like anime wise, right?
Yeah, like my whole life. I make jokes about how I'm low-key like a goth girl at heart, because I'm super into like occult shit and stuff. And then everyone's like, but that's some like demonic shit.
Dude. That's awful. We're a good Christian podcast.
No, but not like it's not like I'm sitting here like eating people either. But I'm saying like I be sitting here watching shit, and some people be like, "That's weird. That's kind of demonic." No, I'm like, that's totally normal, bro. I'm just not open-minded.
Not gonna lie to you, that's how I felt watching a lot of these horror animes. Cause like I've tried watching them, but I'm like, this is not for me.
Yeah.
Like, this is not for me. Like, speaking of not for me, though, transition. What is, in your opinion, the worst horror anime? Because I have one in mind, but I want to hear your opinion.
I have a whole story with it too. So,
Please tell me it's Bloodseed.
Yo, it is.
I did. Because that's the one for me.
Yo, I think everyone agrees. They're like,
Bloodseed is the worst. Bloodseed is the actual worst one.
And it sucks because I sat here and I was like, I watched Blood Plus. It wasn't bad. Let me sit here, watch Bloodseed. And I was sleeping though. It was like watching Sword Art Online.
Don't do that, because we are a pro Sword Art Online podcast.
Yo, I ain't gonna fool with you. Season 1 was good, like they had, but then the rest was like, oh.
You know, before this podcast, the Super Swell podcast, it was gonna be Super Swell Offline. All right. That was one of the names I had thrown out there, and then immediately got shot down.
I mean,
It was immediate.
The fan base wasn't there.
It was no. It's just listen. The committee was like, no, no, honey, that is not gonna be the name. They're like, this is not it.
I mean, it really wouldn't.
Shut up. But anyways, go back to speaking of why you were turned off by that.
No, it was so bad. So I remember the character, no development, no personality, no nothing already off the bat. I'm like, you're not gonna serve me a bland character, and then like expect me to be sitting watching all these episodes like, yeah, this shit hype, garbage. So then, and it made no sense. From what I recall, the whole plot of it made no sense. And it was just a bunch of like gore, and I'm like, I don't mind gore, but like if there's no point to the story, you don't add anything but just like having people like chop off like their arms off and shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, people make the comparison with Bloodseed and like Elfen. Is it Elfen Lied? Is that the name of it?
Yeah.
They make the comparison because Elfen Lied, I remember watching it and had a story, right? But there's a lot of gore.
Yeah,
like
but
a lot, and had a story. Bloodseed just has gore but no story.
Literally.
Like it has a lot of gore for absolutely zero reason.
Yeah, no. And
like
it
zero.
wasn't like productive. Like, and it didn't make sense. It wasn't like, oh, she got her arm chopped off because this dude or whatever, like whatever. It was like she would be chilling at home reading a book. All of a sudden, her like legs be falling off. It was like, bruh, what's going on? Like, you know what I mean?
Why? Why is she dead? Why is she dead?
Honestly, I was like, what is this? And then she's out here like all of a sudden she had like powers. I think she was like a vampire. I was like, listen, none of this is making any sense, and I'm literally snoozing. I literally watched it because I saw a video clip on, I think it was Facebook, of like some giant bunnies eating people and stuff, and I was like,
oh my god, I know exactly what you're talking about. That's the exact reason I watched it, because I saw that stupid clip, and it had a song over it. It had a goddamn song over it, and I was like, yo, this slaps. I need to watch this.
All of us, because the one scene you saw was like 5 seconds of the end.
Yeah, I watched it. I was like, "Yo, this is heat, bro. This is fire." And then I actually watched the end, and I was like, "This is rough. This is bad. This is bad."
Because I swear, everyone that watched Bloodseed, same reason. I saw this one clip, and it was like fire, and then we all sat there like idiots. Like I felt like I was on the show Catfish, and they were like, "You marrying this one dude, hella attractive. He out here with all these careers, whatever." And it's like a fucking insult that shows up in my door. I'm like, "Yo, what's good?" Like it was so disappointing.
Soy boy shows up. Soy boy pulls up, and he's like, "Yo, ma, what's poppy?"
Bro, a whole furry shows up. And he's like, "Hey,
That's
yo."
wild, because we are pro furry on this podcast. Nah, I'm serious. Like, no jokes aside, and I say this because me personally, no issue with furries.
Yeah.
Right? You can be furry. You do that. Good for you. You found something you like. We are pro furry here. Anybody can watch our podcast as long as you don't hate each other. That is the one thing about our podcast.
Bro, it's YouTube. Everyone's gonna hate.
Oh, that's the thing. I understand that, right? But like here, this is an environment where like everyone can be themselves. Because we use the same analogy a lot. It's like everybody has their own anime genre.
Yeah.
I'm gonna knock your dog out. Cut that, Susan.
Bro,
I didn't say that,
ask.
Susan.
I was like, can you hear?
Susan, I did not mean that.
Can you hear my dog?
Scuff podcast, we're still going. But Scuff podcast, we're still going. But it's like everyone has their own anime genre, right? That they like. And I personally am in the situation where like anybody can like what they want. Just like anybody can be who they want. It does not affect me personally. You like what you like. You are with who you are. You watch what you watch. Everyone's the same person.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
That's how I feel about everything. Speaking of, continue, man. Continue. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I
No,
don't
you
know.
go ahead.
I forgot what.
You're on about Blood Sea, bro. And
Oh, yeah.
how booty it was. Like a furry showed up to your house.
No, it was really like, and I've watched some bun. Let me hold on. When I tell you I watched some bun horror anime, but like Blood Sea was just the bottom of the barrel, and that's saying a lot. Cause I watched this other one called Chaos Head. That shit was.
Oh, that was off. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yo, it was bun, and no one knows it low key. I mean, like, y'all ever heard of this trash anime? They're like, I don't remember that. Like, cause nobody watched it. I was the one that got scammed into watching it, and it was so garbage. Like,
Speaking of garbage, bro.
yeah.
Death Note. I think Death Note's ass. Just saying it now.
Really?
Yes, I think it's
I
awesome.
like Death Note. The thing with Death Note was, I read the manga. I don't like what they did afterwards with the whole movie and it got overhyped and shit. And I was like, no, bro. But I really like Death Note. Like, at least from what I read, because I never low-key watched the anime. But like, reading the manga, I like really liked it.
Ooh, it was ass, man. Speaking of ass, transitions after transitions. I'm patting myself on the back. Patting myself on the back. Let me ask you. List your top 5 favorite horror animes.
Top 5?
Or like, give me like 3. Straight off the bat. No particular.
Another's definitely no particular order. Another's definitely up there, just cause that shit I would watch it like 3 times. It was a stop. I know for a fact Inuyasha was in there too, but it's a longer anime and it's a little confusing sometimes. So like that one, it's good when you get into it, but like if you like don't like it in the beginning, you're like I won't continue it. Understandably. And then the last one, I guess like Alpha. No, I don't. Deadman Wonderland. I don't know if that shit even counts.
It does. It does.
That shit slapped. That shit was good.
I was not a fan of the ending, but it had to get censored.
Yeah.
It had to get censored. But out of the 3, who do you say? God damn, bro! Intermission on the podcast. Emy, just say a bunch of shit. Just speak. Just speak for the next like 2 minutes.
Okay. So I guess I'm taking over the podcast. In the meantime, I'm a very boring person, so it's gonna be a terrible 2 minutes with me. Ayo, what's good? But yeah. On another note, I guess in the meantime, even though it's not a podcast anyway, whatever. Like I said, I'm an artiste. If you would like to see my shit, go in the description. I have like all my stuff. I haven't posted a fucking drawing art piece, whatever. Get into art in a minute though. But I'll be into it. I also Twitch stream sometimes. I want to get into like properly streaming.
I don't know what you've been talking about, but hell yeah.
I was plugging.
You're plugging everything? That's fine. Just every you plug whatever you want. That's fine.
Better now, like my dog popping up for another like 2 minutes.
That would have been better content than what we have. But Deadman Wonderland, I did not like the fact that it was censored at the end. I will 100% always. Goddamn, another 2 minutes. Plug whatever you want.
So, as I was saying, I've been Twitch streaming for a minute. Not recently because I'm a mess, but I want to get into like getting like full on drawing on Twitch, and like if anyone has any
She streams to like 690p. I'm exposed.
Bro, but like my Silent Hill one, it was getting like I was getting views. I was
Yeah,
like,
you were.
hold on.
It was nice.
And it was my old account that had like 3 followers because they had to restart from everything. But it was getting some views. I was like, hold on, bro. I need some fun.
Emmy's Twitch be popping off as. That'll be also in the description. That will also be in the description. Back to Deadman Wonderland topic. God, I hope you guys are still here.
Wait, another
This
intermission?
is Scuff. Nah, this is Scuff Podcast 101. I love this. This is what makes our podcast so authentic. The fact that it's so scuffed. But Deadman Wonderland, I always 100% encourage everyone to watch. Read the manga.
Mm-hmm.
You will have such a good time reading the manga over watching the anime.
Yeah, because they didn't finish it.
They didn't get to, but they had no VA.
Yeah.
which like
But even
technically is
then-
our episode 13, which I was like, I like that, you know?
I mean, yeah, but even then, I think the manga is it still ongoing or did they finish it?
I don't remember, honestly. I can fact check.
Because I think it was going on for way more. Like,
It goes
I
on
think
for
they
a
pulled out
while.
Bleach.
It goes on
Yeah.
for a while.
So even then, you have like a little bit of a story in like the anime, but then like you have a whole like the rest of it in the manga. So even then, it's like you have a lot.
You get a lot. You get a lot out of it. So Elfen
Yeah.
Lied, Dead Man Wonderland, and another, right?
I think it's Higurashi, but
Higurashi, yeah.
same thing.
The four,
honestly.
right? It's honestly the four, right?
Yeah.
Out of the four, who do you think has the worst villain? Out of the four.
Wait, the worst what?
The worst villain. The worst villain out of the four.
Oh,
That's a stumper, right?
yeah, no. I don't know. I would say Higurashi, but I feel like it's almost spoiler if I like go into it.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily go into it. Just leave it up to like speculation. Just like give your insight on why do you think he's the worst villain without giving much.
But see, I can't even do all that because then it's like,
Was it his
I would say-
character? Was it?
no, because then again, I can't even, because everything's spoiler, because it's such a like twisty, all over the place anime that like to actually explain the why I have to like go into it, and it's almost like spoilers. I guess spoiler alert if anything, right?
Yeah, skip
you
like
can-
wait, skip like
I just
minute
put like
into this.
a big text like spoiler alert or something.
Yeah,
Be
I
like,
will.
if you want to watch this anime,
skip
click on
like a minute and a half into this.
yeah. But basically, I said that more so. It's not that they're necessarily bad, but there's no particular villain. Everyone kind of like, it's like everyone is their own villain in a way because everyone gets kind of like brainwashed into like committing what they do. So it's like, so it's almost like, I don't know if I would say it's like the worst, but out of the four, like the least maybe interesting villains because it's like everyone would do it. There's no like particular person. If that makes any sense.
Makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. It's like
But-
it was just on the tip of my tongue and now I can't remember it. It was like the villains in Angel Beats. They're
Oh, I
not
didn't
quite
watch that shit.
This is a little bit of this is another, it's not really a spoiler because we talked about this in our Slice of Life episode.
Yeah.
It's just they're not villains and they're very much misunderstood until the end of the anime. Where, like you understand they're not villains. They have the same exact purpose as everyone else. They're just made out to be the villains for what they're doing. Especially Angel, because Angel Beats, Angel, the character herself is the villain. In their eyes, but like she's not the villain.
Right, yeah.
It's just the way that it has to play out. I sort of understand that. That gives me a lot of insight, man, because it really shows that you're very versed on the idea of horror anime. You're very versed on like you're very versed in it, like on the idea of horror anime, right?
Yeah.
And like you have the idea of like how you would like it to be, because everyone has that. Everyone has their own opinion on what they would like.
Yeah, for sure.
Which brings me into my next topic, right? In this day and age, and I know you said at the beginning of this that you haven't really kept up to date with horror anime, and obviously there's probably a reason behind that. Like you know, it's for me personally, like why I haven't kept up necessarily with certain animes. Everything has turned really bland for me, and they've all been the same animes. I wouldn't say everything's kind of buns, because like I've mentioned before in previous episodes, like My Hero. I've never necessarily been a fan of My Hero. I think it's like the fighting's cool and stuff like that, but My Hero is just like Boruto, and Boruto's just like this one, and this one's just like that one.
Yeah.
They're all the same anime,
Yeah.
just retextured, you know?
Because I tried, I know that, like, I tried watching Origami when it was still, like, more recent, I guess, or whatever.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it. I wasn't into it. I was like, yo, this feels like 10 other animes I've seen.
Exactly.
And it's not, like...
Or
So I
boomers.
started, like, more so looking at, like, when I would watch anime still, it's more so either the anime that, like, people don't really talk about, don't know. Like, there's one anime I started watching, I think it was, like, last year. and it's called Zero Experiment Lane, and it's like a whole. I think maybe like 5 people in like the anime community knows it, because it's like not a very.
It's one of those underground ones.
Yeah, but it's really interesting. It's really weird. I don't even know if I'd classify it as like a horror. I guess it's psychological horror.
Yeah.
But it's a really weird, like almost like taking LSD and going on a full trip, like. But it's interesting. It's not one of those like chaos things. It's like fun and whatever.
Yeah, I know what you mean, right? Because like me personally, it's like there's always this aspect of I just can't really follow anime these days. It's hard for me to do so with such a busy schedule in my life.
Yeah.
But like when I do get the chance, I try to watch certain things, and it doesn't work for me. We're pretty much fucking boomers, you know. What about horror anime in the last few years has been a turn off for you necessarily? That's made you want to go like, I'll pass.
From what I remember seeing, it was all starting to look like Blood Sea in the sense of like.
It was all generic story.
Yeah, it was all kind of the same formula, like intense war, not much going on, not much like I feel like horror anime had its like really golden era for like a certain period of time where people like were just getting it right, and then everyone wanted to copy that same kind of golden era, and it was just like, nah, we've seen it all, it's all been done, it's kind of bland, it's kind of boring, it's not about it, the characters bland, it's like half of the characters I've seen in more like recent like horror animes, they were kind of like, it was almost like watching one of those old school horror movies where like you already knew what was coming. Like they would be like, oh, there's something behind the door, and they open the door, there's nothing, but like it's behind the closet or whatever, like that's right there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was like that, and I was like, yeah, I don't know about that anymore. So I just like stopped watching it because it was boring. I was like, nah, I gotta be entertained, or I'm like not keeping up.
So obviously, very much so. You're very much like you have a serious taste at the moment for say the horror animes of today.
Yeah.
Right? How would you personally make it better?
I feel like it's hard to say in the sense because like I feel like not to say everything has been done, but like for example, I'm gonna bring up this like this is more like manga. It's not even like full on, but there's this one horror like writer called Junji Ito, and he makes like these horror stories. They're like really like he nails it. Like there's this one story called Uzumaki where he makes like spirals into like a horror concept. Like for example, there's a scene where it's like the whole basis of the story is like the city is cursed with like a weird kind of curse that turns everything into spirals, and people are like obsessed with like the spirals to where they like lose their mind and they become like psychotic. And so there's a scene where like there's this girl and her boyfriend are like eating like spaghetti or whatever with like the family, and the dad and the family for some reason starting to be like weird, and he's kind of like getting obsessed with spirals, and he's like, oh my god, like this spaghetti, I can make spirals, blah blah blah. I think that's how it goes. He was looking at something that was like spiraling, and he was like slowly like becoming weird, and he like it was like there's a because it's a manga, so like you flip the page, and then the next page was like him basically like doing like a chameleon thing with his tongue, where it was like his tongue was like out and it was like all like spiraled out, and he was looking really weird. And then by like the end of that chapter, they find him dead in a form of a spiral, and like I think it was like they added in the basement, something like that. And it's like it was an interesting concept because I've never seen a fucking horror anime that's like, oh, we gonna turn spirals into something that's creepy.
So like, are you trying to say that like you would have people think more instead of just straight?
Yeah.
Like you
like
see the death
creative.
and that's it. You want it to be more creative instead of like, oh, the person just dies. They talk about him for a few seconds, and the next episode doesn't like it's just non-existent.
Yeah, because like if it was just like, oh, you just see people die, there no backstory, no development, and it's all the same kind of thing. It's like if I sit here and I watch 3 horror animes, for example, and like they're all the same, and I can find very strong similarities in the way they die, the kind of backstory or whatever. I'm probably gonna watch one of them and then not touch the other ones, and then be like, it's the same thing.
That was the issue with Future Diary.
Yeah, okay.
that everyone dies, but like you don't really care because they don't make it like they don't present it to you, right? Like the person dies.
Some of them towards the end, they're like, okay, I like this one and that. But yeah, no, the very beginning especially, the characters were replaceable. Like you could like replace.
That is one issue that I always bring up. That it always feels like in this day and age, characters are always super replaceable.
Yeah.
It's not like because you can't replace Naruto. You know, you can't replace Ichigo from Bleach. You can't replace Luffy from One Piece. Those are people that feel unreplaceable. Like
yeah,
if
especially because we grew up with them too, so we had that extra.
Yeah, the extra oomph, like there was always extra attachment. Like those are characters that will never be replaced. And you have characters like today and like say horror animes. Those are three like bad examples. But like you have characters in horror animes today that are always super replaceable. Like if you saw them in the first episode and they didn't appear in the second one, you wouldn't care, you know? So this brings me to another fun topic here, you know? Is horror anime in the year 2019 going into 2020, do you think it's any good in today's society? Like, not that it's done any harm to today's society, just do you think it's any good that it is still around?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I feel like, because I know there's like stigma with anything horror, where people think that like people are gonna turn into serial killers. Like if the people that like consume horror were serial killers, but all of us would be like, I would be like the biggest serial killer, to be honest, because I've been watching stuff
crazy,
maybe like 8 years old. But like, I think it obviously has a place. Everything pretty much has a place. It's like,
do you think it has a place? Do you think it has a place in the anime world right now? Because it's very much like this anime era. Because I personally believe the golden era of anime is like early 2003 to late like 2012 was like my golden era for anime.
Not even the 90s like, because Cowboy Bebop was like in the 90s.
Yeah, I think the 90s had gems. I think they have gems. I don't think everything in the 90s was great, because everything in the 90s was pretty much the exact same. The 90s had pretty much the best stories.
Yeah.
But I think from the year 2003 to like 2012, 2013 is when everything felt unique.
Yeah, it was really good.
Because everything felt unique. Like in the 90s, personally, myself, I was like, don't get me wrong, I wasn't around for the 90s, but after watching those animes, I felt like everything was sort of the exact same thing. Like they all wore just a different mask all the time, but it was the exact same thing.
That's how I feel the 90s. I haven't watched every single 90s anime because I didn't even know anime back then. But yeah, no. From the ones I remember, the ones that I know I watched, like Sailor Moon, Red Z, Cowboy Bebop, shit like that, I was like, it was good. Like I would have like fond memories with them shit, so I'll definitely include some of them. But yeah, no, definitely the golden age of anime passed, like, to be honest. But I feel like we can like recreate that shit. Like not me, like we as a me or whatever, but I mean like in general.
In the community, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like definitely, because all you need is like someone creative. Like kind of like with music. Like I'm gonna make like a little random. Billie Eilish, for example, a lot of people are saying like, oh, she's like something new in like the music industry, because we haven't seen her like shit in like a really long time, and it's all been kind of more like a certain kind of sound.
Yeah.
So it all depends on like, you just have to find the few people that are like pushing the boundaries in terms of their own like creativity and finding like new ways to make stories interesting, and you'll have like a golden age again. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I think we're just stuck in a a lot of people wouldn't say it's a dark cloud. Like there's dark cloud casting a shadow over this, but I personally feel like there is a big dark cloud casting this hellacious shadow over like the anime world right now, because everything is very much shonen.
Yeah, because that's why it supposedly sells. Like most people are like, oh, shonen is great, everybody loves shonen, but it's like, okay, but we've seen it all at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. But like back to the point I was trying to say, but I think it's more so also that like people kind of like wanna like be the next fucking like Junji Ito, for example. Like everyone wants to be like, oh, I make good content, whatever, to the point that it's almost like taking a toll on their own creativity, because they're almost like thinking of the model too much, and it's like if you just recreate the whole story that like was already brought forward with like, I don't know, another, for example, it's not gonna hit because we already saw another. We don't want to rewatch another, but like with a new title. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I 100% agree on that. You know, it's like when Miyazaki was doing all the stuff for Studio Ghibli, right?
Yeah.
And everyone would try to recreate that exact same thing, but you can't do it like the original. There's no getting past the original.
Yeah, no, for sure.
There's people taking ideas from that and making them their own, which I think is sort of in the sense of like, hey, look, another is its own anime because it takes ideas from this one, but it's not exactly that one. It doesn't try to be the other guy. It is his own thing, but it takes ideas from it takes small ideas from everyone else and makes itself unique.
And I think that's why, like, for example, Bloodseed didn't hit because Bloodseed didn't know what it was, to be honest. Bloodseed was kind of all over the place.
Bloodseed was just a fucking sequel that wasn't needed.
Yeah, but it wasn't even like a sequel per se because they weren't continuing the story that was like implemented in Blue Plus. Like it was like a change completely. But I think the reason why it flopped so hard was because like they didn't have any real. It's like they almost didn't have a blueprint. They kind of just like were like, we'll see here and figure it out. Another, like, for example, another point I could make: Fullmetal Alchemist, the original, the one that came before Brotherhood, suffered the same problem where in the ending they didn't know what they were doing anymore. They were like, oh shit, we don't have the manga, so like figure something out. And
that was a different situation though. It was like, because in the year that I'm gonna look this up. FMA. In the year that FMA came out, right? Not Brotherhood. I'm showing Brotherhood. It was 2009.
Yeah.
It was 2009 when the first FMA released. And 2009 is a very dark period for anime, where there wasn't much, you know? There was not many. And to take some of the most popular animes at the time, that they needed to take some of the most popular mangas at the time and just give them anime adaptations. Like Eden of the East, it's one of my favorites of all time. They gave that an adaptation. A lot of people say it fell flat, but I personally think it's great. Look at fucking. Well, I'm about to look at the original FMA. It's just like, actually, I might be talking about Brotherhood.
No, because I remember the original because I was so
When did the original come out?
What happened?
No, see, the original came out in 2003. Me Monkey Brain. It was like earlier I said, anime was in this twine, right? In like year 2003, where I think it had a lot of bangers at the time, like a lot of bangers, but it was also stuck in this weird period where like these are a lot of just things that are just thrown together at will because they need stuff. They were in a cloud, like Sonic X, Astro Boy, Fullmetal Alchemist. Those are some that came out in 2003 from my recollection of all this that were just kind of thrown together that didn't really have much of an ending. They were thrown there because they needed them.
But I feel like Sonic X, for example, it worked a little. Like, I didn't watch it really.
It worked because it was on fucking
4Kids.
It was on 4Kids. It was designed to be a cartoon.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I feel like it worked because it was almost like slice of lifey in the sense that there was no real ending, but it wasn't like they didn't know where to go with it. They were just like, oh, we'll make an episode about this, make an episode about that, whatever. And it's on the cartoon format, so it's not like people are sitting here like, oh, I want to see how it ends. Everyone's just kind of like watching the episodes and built. Whereas like Fullmetal Alchemist, it came out as like a normal anime that you were expecting a whole story, and it started with a story because it wasn't like they were just slice of life in it the whole like 50 episodes or whatever they were about. It started with like a strong story, so we were all kind of like hoping to see like the resolution to the strong story in the beginning, and they kind of didn't know how to end it. And I remember they had to end it in the movie. Like they literally had a whole movie after like the whole anime ended because they didn't know what to do.
Hey man, 2003 had a lot of that. All right, 2003. 2004, 2005, just the year 2000 had a lot of unfinished shit that ended up in movies.
True.
I do not know why, but everything ended up in a goddamn film.
But sometimes like they even finished it and they would still have like a movie on.
Yeah, recap films, bro.
Yeah.
Recap films. We have a big distaste for recap films on this stupid podcast.
Cause they're I don't know about fun. They're kind of buns. Like I remember Bleach had like 7 movies for no reason.
Bleach had a lot. The only recap movies that I can say are any fucking good are the Anohana movie. Love that film. It's a great film. There is the Madoka Magic films.
Oh, Madoka's good, yeah.
because Madoka Magic is very long, but they break everything down into like an hour each for their films,
Yeah.
and they're great. They're 100% fantastic. You know, those are two examples of great films that are just recap movies. They're recapping the anime.
Yeah, but I'm gonna bring a point up too, because like I forgot Madoka completely. Madoka's a really good. I don't know if
It's a horror, yes.
horror,
Yeah, it is.
but it's a really good. And that one was more. When did it come out? Like
Personally think it's the fucking.
13?
Personally think it's the GOAT of horror anime.
Especially for the time it came out. It came out during One Punch Man like era, right?
Madoka Magic came out in 2011.
I thought it was like 2014 or something. But anyways, it was really. I remember I started watching, and it was so. And I really liked that it was so unexpected, because I thought it was gonna be like Sailor Moon, to be honest, because it was like it kind of made it look like it was gonna be like, you know, like Magic Girl, whatever. But
Oh no, it takes a deep turn.
Yeah.
Like you do not expect it, you know.
And I think that's why it hits. I think like if the people are like, if you pull something like that where it's like it's creative, where it's like, oh, magic girls, but then it's like really fucking dark. It's like it captures your interest. Whereas if they made Madoka like another magic girl anime, where it's like magic girls fighting whatever, people would be like, cool. Like the first like, 9 episodes are dope, but like I can also like, just sit here and watch all the other magic girl like animes, and like you know it'll still do the trick. So I think it's also like, yeah, the creativity is like really important.
It happens, you know. It's just it's a weird vibe where like you expect something and then like suddenly it's just not it. I watched one recently that I lost my shit. I expected slice of life. It was not that. Sorry if I butchered the name for any of the 5 people that watched this one. Sarah's anime. I watched that recently, and I recommend that. I think it's great. They're just little fucking Kappa dudes, right? There's little fucking Kappa dudes, and I did not expect that. It takes a very fucking rough turn at the beginning, because at the beginning you're like, oh, this is slice of life. It opens up with this beautiful shot of this kid running and giving this monologue, and then a fucking frog puts him in his butt, and then he turns to a Kappa, and he has to go fight Kappa warriors, Kappa zombies, and then a bunch of shit goes down, and they're just making jokes the entire time.
What is it called?
I said it like 2 seconds ago, and I'm gonna say it again. I'm gonna butcher it one more time. Sarah's anime.
Because it was reminding me of some, but like,
It's very dumb.
It reminds me of this other anime, not horror, but it's I think it's shonen or whatever. There's this anime called Katekyo Hitman Reborn, which same thing, slice of life anime in the very beginning, but then it takes like a full turn. It's like a shonen, and it's almost like Bleach or Naruto, like to like put it. But it's weird because it starts getting into like that category of like anime, literally like 100 episodes. Like you have to skip 100 episodes. To, like,
It bothers the shit out of me when animes do that. Whoever's listening to me at those goddamn studios, stop teasing me at the beginning, bro. If it comes out as if it looks like goddamn slice of life within the first 3 minutes, and I'm like, oh hell yeah, and then suddenly it takes the biggest turn in the world, and I don't know what else is going on after 3 minutes because there's mad action. I ain't watching that. I came here for slice of life.
The beginning of it, because I was bored because I don't really enjoy slice of life like that, and I just couldn't sit here and watch this dude like go to school every day and like live his life. I was like, no, but so I had to like skip like the 100 or like I think it's 80 episodes, the 80 episodes, because everyone was like, no, it's a good anime. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's literally just him going to school. Because the whole premise of the anime is he's like it's supposed to be like a mafia boss, and he's like basically next in line to be like a mafia boss, so he's like training to it. But like he's just going to school.
Yeah, I just gotta watch Heaven's Lost Property. That's what I gotta do. Just live your lives. Watch Heaven's Lost Property. And with that being said, Emy, I give you 2 seconds to recommend anything that you want to the audience.
Like an anime or
anything.
Honestly, like watch Madoka Magica, but that's so sloppy. Yeah, no, Madoka Magica, I honestly like that note, even though it's like overhyped. So like, if you want to watch that note, watch another. Higurashi, Blood Plus was honestly good. Don't watch Blood Sea though. Buns.
Don't watch it. Awful. Booty.
Garbage.
Emy, plug. Right now. More plugs. Go.
My Twitter, Instagram.
You haven't said any of it. You have said none of it. You just said my Twitter, Instagram.
But I was about to. You cut me off, bruh. But like Emy Schiffer, EMYSCHI. Yeah, IFFER.
She can't even spell her own name. Bonobo.
Yo, I failed this.
Alright, boys. With that being said, remember, have a damn good one. You can catch Emy wherever Emy's doing her shit. And we'll probably have Emy back again. This was fun. Bye. Lucy, say bye.